started.
Hi, my name is Brandy Lloyd, and I am 51 years old. I turned 52 in about a month and a half, and I am BRCA2 positive. And tomorrow I go in for my prophylactic double mastectomy. And through this process of the last few months, several months, my husband and I have learned more about breast cancer than we've ever known. And so that's just, I have spent so much time on YouTube and the internet and Facebook groups trying to figure out what to do. And really, I just kind of wanted to pay it forward and do my own video about what's kind of led to my decision, because that was a real deal for us, is the actual coming to the point of making a decision. So I'll try and be as concise as I possibly can, but I know that I was really interested in finding other women like myself and what was behind making their decisions to have any of the prophylactic surgeries that are recommended today for women that are BRCA2 positive. So back in March, my little sister, 49 years old, was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. The previous fall, so this is 2023 right now, the previous fall of 2022, she had a suspicious lump, which was cleared. And then you fast forward about 6 months, and that lump that was cleared had already metastasized, meaning it spread throughout her body to her bones already. And so she's undergoing chemotherapy and hormone therapy right now for stage 4 breast cancer. So this was the end of March and beginning of April for our family. We've had ovarian cancer in our family in the mid 90s. My aunt was diagnosed in the fall, and she at 49 or 50 years old, and she passed away from ovarian cancer in May the following year. That was 96 and 97. And so other than that, we haven't had much that we know of in our family line, and the genetic mutations weren't known at that time, and we just kind of always wondered. And so when my sister was diagnosed, she had the genetic testing done, having lost an aunt, a paternal aunt, from ovarian cancer. She was positive, and then that's when all the family kind of started testing, and then I myself tested positive. So there's two ways that we were really considering. One is surveillance, which is just every 6 months you're getting mammograms or MRIs, and you're having your skin checked, and just pancreas and prostate. So the BRCA gene mutation, is a concern for both males and females. And so right now I have autoimmune issues. I'm being treated for lupus, and I also have fibromyalgia, as well as some inflammatory arthritis. And so just wondering what my body, could tolerate and handle with the stress of the surveillance. And then having learned in the Facebook groups, especially, not just statistics. Statistically speaking, I was up there for my age and the BRCA gene mutation. I was up there 87% plus or higher getting breast cancer between now and my 70th birthday. You'll notice when you do your own research that curve between 50 and 70 really is steep. And I feel very blessed. My faith is a huge part of my life, and it is what makes up my life. And I really struggled with what to do with these curves, these research. I'm not just a statistic. I am a nutritionist for a living, and I eat very clean. I participate in basically it's an anti-cancer diet, pretty much, because I have my autoimmune disease, and I get exercise, and try and prioritize sleep. I had already been through perimenopause. That was the very last end of it. Hadn't had my period for 7 months, maybe a little bit more, 7 months. And so I'm like, I don't know if this I don't know, if I want to do this, but the thought of surveillance and every 6 months testing, waiting for the results, because that's what you're doing. You're waiting to see if you have cancer. Are they going to catch it? Are they going to catch it? Are they going to catch it? Because the odds were very high. The average woman, I learned, has about a 12 to 14% chance. Handling the prophylactic surgeries brings it down to 9. We're still struggling with this, and my faith, of altering my body in such, I felt like an extreme or radical way. At first I felt like it was like am I mutilating my body? Just this is the way the Lord made me, and just, and I'm a small-breasted woman, so not a lot with clothing or how I identify myself I felt would matter, but it kind of does matter, because it's how we feel as women, is having breasts and ovaries, and part of the overall femininity. So and the relationship with my husband, and just all of it. And I learned in the groups how many women really chose surveillance first, and sadly so many young women that hadn't even had children, and I have 5 grandchildren at this point. And they just biopsy after biopsy, and just the stress of it, and then finding cancer, and then having to do treatment because the surveillance worked. It was spotted, but then having to do treatment and the surgeries. So so we met with, when you get your positive mutation diagnosis, then you get to meet with a genetic counselor, as many times as you want for the rest of your life. Going through the doctor's appointments was just kind of a stress. And then even people saying to me, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I was like, "Oh, I don't have breast cancer, and I don't, want to be put into that category." There's women that are like my sister that are struggling and fighting, or have survived breast cancer. And I have mixed feelings about the BRCA community and pre-Viver kind of mentality, and I realize that for many it's empowering and everything. For me, for me personally, I felt like it was kind of taking away the respect for the battle and the struggle that women with breast cancer, are going through. And everyone's going to have their own feeling about that, and I certainly don't judge what makes you feel like you can fight something or whatever, because it is a struggle. It's been a mental and emotional struggle. And so I'm looking forward to tomorrow. It was going into the Facebook groups, the BRCA gene mutation Facebook groups, and listening to other women and asking questions of other women all around the world of like how they came to this decision, and story after story of just, I've been doing surveillance for 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, and now they found cancer, and now I'm under treatment, and all of this. And it's a very personal, very individual decision that nobody else can make, for you. And that's where I just came to the conclusion, and speaking with my husband, and very prayerful of saying, that's more stressful to me than actually going through the prophylactic surgeries. So that's what we're doing tomorrow. Is about 5 weeks ago, I had my ovaries and my fallopian tubes removed. It's called a bilateral salpingo-oophorectomy. And I was past getting hot flashes and all of that stuff. And so I thought I was doing really good. And then about the 2 or 3 week mark, I think about the 3 week mark, I started feeling the hot flashes coming back on. And so I'll be dealing with that. I have another factor. It's actually called factor 5 Leiden, which is a blood clotting disorder. And so I'm doing my homework on, I'm trying to debate right now, or feel, do I just kind of want to keep dealing with the hot flashes, or do I want to consider something like either over the counter or prescriptive bioidentical hormones? There's other risk factors, for that. And there's also benefits to that depending on how young you are when you were to get your ovaries taken out. And that's a whole other conversation that, we're not having right here. You can do your research on that by age and what's recommended and what your body needs. But at my age and where I was with my menstrual cycle and everything, I was past hot flashes, and my diet and exercise and everything has so much to do with that. So tomorrow's the big day. you know, and we live up here in the mountains, and I'm already packed. I packed on Friday. We've been collecting things. What really helped me was seeing pictures. So I'm doing an aesthetic flat closure. I'm not doing the deep flap or any reconstruction, any implants or anything. It's not my style. You know, for one, I have small breasts, and it's not my style. And also with already having autoimmune issues, the breast implant illness, I didn't want to have to deal with that, which is a growing issue in the implant world in general. Putting a foreign something in your body, you know, a lot of bodies are rebelling, and it's taking a long time to discover that. So I just don't want to go there. I don't qualify for the Goldilocks. You can do your homework and figure out what that is, and or the deep flap, DIEP, where they kind of scrape or gather fat from around your body and try and build mounds of breast tissue. I don't have enough fat for that, I'm happy to say, you know, but it's an option that a lot of women are going for. I'm not doing a nipple or skin sparing at all. Learned that about 25 or 26% of breast cancer cells are found in that nipple areola kind of area. And so if we're doing this to reduce risk, then, and that's what we're doing, is reducing risk. We're not eliminating the possibility of breast cancer, you know, entirely. They can't get every single little microscopic cell. They really try. I'm really, you know, I'm very confident in my surgeon. She's a general surgeon. She's done flat closures before, and it's a whole different technique. And it's something that a lot of women have been struggling to actually get, and now it's becoming more and more popular. It's not just simply removing your mammary glands and breast tissue, but it's also, if you think of like quilting, you know, cutting your skin in a way that makes it very, very flat and contoured. And everybody's body habitus or shape is different, but they remove the inframammary space right here, so it goes completely flat across. And so I joke, but it's serious. I'm gonna look a lot like our 6-year-old grandsons, you know. But my husband, he doesn't care. He's like, I don't care. You know, you are beautiful. It's not about the breasts, and I'm still going to be as feminine and his wife, and which is a huge part of this support and just the emotional side of it. I actually feel less emotional about it today. In the beginning, I say the beginning, it hasn't even been all that long that we made the decision. Just I think we've been really wrestling with this since about June, I think. So we're trying to figure out what to do and then putting things on the schedule. But I'm excited, you know, about it. Looking, being in the flat Facebook groups, like one is called, I think it's like a flat, gosh, I should look it up. I'll put it in the link in the bottom. No reconstruction. Another one's flat out love, and it's been nice to see other women go through this, their videos, their pictures. So I'm going to do that. We're going to do a pre-op picture tomorrow. I might do a short video in the morning. I don't know. And then I told my husband, get the camera out and we'll do it. Just woke up and how I feel, because this documenting really isn't about me. I just really feel like it's a pay it forward. I just searched and searched and searched. My husband knows. I just really wanted to see real women. The statistics aren't as important to me as what real women were saying about how they felt and their level of maybe regret, because especially going flat closure, there's no going back. But I don't know, I feel really good about it. I actually feel today really excited about it. I think it's because I'm tired of thinking about it. I'm tired of looking at research. I'm tired of wonder what it's going to be like for me, or just so many details. And if you're in this position, then you're going to know what I mean. And I think about it like kind of like being pregnant. It's like by the end of your pregnancy, you're just kind of over it and you just want to have the baby, and you know there's going to be that painful time, but you're just like, just get it over with, you know. And so That's how I feel about it right now. I'm gonna do a one-night stay. We think just a one-night stay. I'm also a personal trainer. I've been looking at already the recovery. That's kind of where my mind is right now, is I'm gonna go to sleep tomorrow morning. They're gonna give me an IV. I'm gonna go to sleep tomorrow morning. I'm not worried about that. I say to my husband, if I don't make it through the anesthesia or the surgery, I'm gonna wake up in heaven, and I feel bad about my family or whatever, but they can rejoice knowing where I am, because Jesus is my Lord and my Savior, and there won't be any sadness there on my end. And it sounds selfish, but I think it kind of takes that sting of fear away for me. I'm gonna go sleep. I'm gonna wake up, and I'm allergic to adhesive. We know that after 3 C-sections and band-aids or anything on me, that adhesive doesn't work. My surgeon feels very confident and prefers the stapling, and so I'm actually I'm probably mostly apprehensive about having the staples removed. Had a girlfriend of mine who is 2 years clear from cancer. She came over the other day and brought mastectomy pillows and all of these things that I'll share, some things that worked for me, and all these things, and she said the drains were not a big problem, and that's actually been one of my kind of worry points. Is like, oh, the drains. She says they're more cumbersome. So I'm gonna have 4 of them. I guess they're gonna be around in this location here, and we don't know exactly what this is going to look like until it's done. I'm anticipating, bruising. I'm anticipating maybe some wrinkling or looking weird, or whatever. I just kind of having in my mind that, okay, if I see these things, then that's normal. And that's because of the benefit of these videos and the benefit of the support groups. And it is nice to pray for women, other women, as they're going through this. And another group is Knitted Knockers, a woman that was diagnosed with breast cancer and went flat, and she didn't like the prosthetics. A lot of women don't like the prosthetics. They're heavy or awkward or sweaty or anything. And so I'll probably just get some, just because the insurance is paying for it at this point, and I'd rather get it and then forget about it and put it in my drawer, and maybe I'll have a dress or something that I want to wear them. But the Knitted Knockers, you can look them up. They're a nonprofit, and I'm a knitter, usually in the winter, and so I think I'm going to be a part of that as well. And then also thinking of really loving on other women, whether prayer or the Knitted Knockers, or sharing my story even locally. 1 out of 8 women are going to face breast cancer, and I just really didn't want to be that 1 out of 8 women with such an elevated position. I was completely, when I first heard about this, I was like, screw that, I'm not doing it. There's no way I'm gonna do, just continue with my health and nutrition, and that's it. And then I think that was my ego. I think I was just being really arrogant, and there's just some things that I just can't deny. And some women said that, in the Facebook group, and maybe this was the plan. That the Lord says, I said in the very beginning, when we finally made this decision, that I didn't want to be like that joke about the flood that came, and the guy sitting on top of his house, and a raft came by, and he said, no thank you, the Lord is going to save me. And then another boat came by, no thank you, the Lord is going to save me. 5 or 6 vehicles, and finally like a helicopter, and he said no, he kept waiting for the Lord, and he eventually drowned. And when he got to heaven, he says, Lord, I was waiting for you, and why didn't you save me? And the Lord said, I tried. I sent all these boats and a helicopter and whatever, and you didn't take my help. And so I figure, we're living in 2023, and science, the Lord created all these things, and he created science and scientists and medical procedures. And although a huge part of me believes that a lot of that is money driven and pharmaceutical driven, and just huge money grab, and it makes us really, really sick, and that we should be living a healthy lifestyle, I think that there are times when you just need Western medicine, and you just need doctors. And I'm thankful for Dr. Reed in Sonora, California at Adventist Health, who is a friend of mine and my surgeon, and I just feel real confident going in. We live in a small town, and we're very blessed to have access like this in our community. Feel very blessed to have insurance, and so we're just gonna Larry Cable Guy, you know, just get her done, and I feel joyful, and I believe that attitude and mindset is scientifically proven to be what is it's a major factor in your recovery. And so I'm just thinking about the other women that I can serve in this community, at whatever capacity that is. And I'm just thinking about my stretches and my mobility exercises and getting back to work with my own clients, and the joy that it brings me to help other people. And so that's how I feel right now. And in 24 hours, we'll be sitting at the hospital, you know, right now doing the pre-op stuff. And she's gonna, you know, test my lymph nodes and see if there's any cancer cells in there. She's gonna tag my sentinel lymph nodes, which you can do homework on, and so if anything does come up, all my breast tissue will be thoroughly ran, and we're really praying for clean pathology there. And that's it. We're all packed. Have to wash a couple dogs and mop the floor, because I feel like I have to have those kinds of things done, and I have a husband who's really generous and understand that if I have peace in my surroundings, then I'm going to have so much more peace, which is why he agreed to come. You know, this is just, you know, minutes from the house, and it was so nice. He got me a gluten-free pumpkin scone this morning, and some green tea, and we're up here. Most of the tourists are gone, and it's nice and peaceful. So I hope this video serves you. And if you want to reach out to me you can find me at thepathforhealth.com, thepathforhealth.com, and you can email me from there, or you can find me on Facebook. I don't hide on Facebook either, and I'll put the links on there. And I really recommend that you reach out to the support groups, because that's really where I honestly probably learned the most about, I mean, the real life look. One last thing is, in Dr. Reed's office, there was a gal in there who's 85 years old who had this surgery done 10 or 11 years ago. So she's flat, and she shared live in person with me. And I was a little emotional to meet her standing in the room at first, and then she showed me, and it wasn't scary at all. And that was huge for me. I was already fully committed to doing this, but seeing it live in person, you know, it's a double amputation, you know, seeing it live in person and how it's not a big deal. And she's shaped like me, you know, she's a petite gal, and she's like, that's no big deal. She works out and she's really active, and that was huge. And so that's what I'm going to do. I already told Dr. Reed, I said, I will do that. Anytime you have a woman, any age, shape, or size, and they want to see a flat closure, you call me, I will be coming in. And I think that's part of the healing process on both sides, is to serve and to love and encourage. Feeds us back the other way. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I don't know when I'm going to actually get these loaded up, but we're at least going to film them, and they can stay out there in YouTube land as a little BRCA1 or 2, I'm 2 positive prophylactic double mastectomy, and I also have the BSO, the bilateral salpingo oophorectomy. So anyways, I'm sorry that you're having to watch this video. You know, I know where you are right now, and it's already better. It's already better from when I was tearfully kind of watching these. So anyways, if there's a way for me to pray for you in advance, you know, I would. And but you can always reach out to me. All right, blessings.